Welcome back, rum fans. My name's Steve the Barman, and I'm really excited today because I'm here to help you on your rum journey, but mainly focusing on rums under 50 quid. But I'm excited because I've just finished that bowl. Let's give you a close up of this one. I'm doing Plantation's Fiji. What's actually Isle of Fiji? Let's call it. Plantation have got a few Fijian rums, but this is the Isle of Fiji, and it's part of their signature range. As we can see up here, hopefully they should be on camera, the Barbados, the Guatemala and Belize, the Zymaca, the Gran Añejo, the Zymaca and the Fiji. Let's put the empty bottle up there just for the time being. Oh, I love this rum. This is like no other rum, and I've talked about it a lot on this. Well, I haven't mentioned it for ages actually, but previously I've talked about it a lot on this channel, and I was kind of excited because I haven't actually, as I said, I haven't actually revisited and done a proper tasting of this rum for flipping yonks, especially now that my palate has changed. And I actually think probably the last time I opened this rum might have been a good 6 months ago. So, you know, it's kind of like pot calling the kettle black, saying I'm super excited, I really love this rum. You know, I just haven't tasted it for 6 months because I'm tasting other things all the time. So what's coming up? Tasting and reviewing. I'm going to let you know what other people have scored. And I've really forgotten to do the scores of other people in the last couple of videos. So I'm going to try and remember to do that. But this has been reviewed a lot of times, over 100 times. So I'm going to be telling you about that. I'm also doing the mixer test, but I've got one other cheeky little one there. So we've got the mixers, the cocktails, and all that. So that's what's coming up. So let me tell you all about Plantation Isle of Fiji. As I've already said, it's part of the signature range. They've got the classic bartender range, Exhibit A. So those four, OFTD, the OD, the Stiggins, and the 3 stars, the white one. They've got their signature range there from there, of which like that, and then they've got their posh sipping ranges, various different things on there. So I've got a lot of love for Plantation. Thank you very much, Nick, for continuing to restock the bar when you're passing. ID Brands, Nick. So thank you very much. All opening, honestly, you know, I bought. What did I buy? I bought a Plantation 2007 for the taste along. But I'm very, very lucky for that. But it's, you know, that's the same with most of the rums behind here. None of these are sponsored videos. You know, no one's paying me to do this or that. I acquire the few free bottles from here and there, but there's no money changing hands at all. And I am honest, because I'm not here to really review or say something that is terrible. I'm here to try and help you. Okay, it's not my mission in life to say, oh, that's terrible. You know, if I don't like it, I want to try and get it across to the people that will like it. That's what I'm about, all right? So I'm not here to slate anything, really. Give you facts, give you interesting stories. There we go. So let's dive in. Oh, this is like, why do I always forget about rums? It really annoys me. Really annoys me. Right, so let's crack on. Let's tell you about it. First off, Master of Malt, the price, £31.95. Let's call it £32. You certainly won't get it in the supermarkets in the UK. It will be an online purchase. And I doubt you'll get it anywhere cheaper, to be honest. Master of Malt. Now, I've got nothing written down, but I have got the website on because Plantation, love them or hate the rums, you have to love what Plantation do. They are so open and honest. They tell you literally everything that they do. Okay, you have to admire them for that. If all rum brands were like that, if all rum brands had the openness and the honesty of Plantation, you know, there would be less rum hate in the world. It would just be, you know, it would just be complete blank canvas, open book. So you have to love. So I'm just going to pick out a few facts here. 40% ABV, origin Fiji. The distillers are the Rum Company of Fiji Distillery. I don't actually know how many distilleries there are in Fiji. I don't know. It might just be the one. Who knows? It's molasses based. Fermentation is 4 to 5 days. It's pot and column still rum. Tropical aging, so it will be a blend of rums, obviously. So we've got 2 to 3 years in bourbon casks. And then what Plantation do for most of their rums is ship them back to France, and they get aged in cognac barrels. Ferrand, Maison Ferrand is a cognac brand, so they get aged in Maison Ferrand cognac barrels. So they get a year, essentially. I think it's a year. Yeah, is it 1 year? Yeah, 1 year in Ferrand casks. Now, we've got the volatile substances. We're not going to go into that. The one thing I just have, I've got Zymaca open as well, here as well. So I just wanted to kind of compare something, because we've got esters on here. 42, I'm assuming that's G/HL. I'm assuming grams per hectolitre. So I'm assuming that's what it means. Esters are 42 in this. The Zymaca is, where's it gone? Is 156. Now, to put that into perspective, I don't think the Zymaca has got that much funk to it. It's got a bit, but not that much. So you can kind of gauge from the Zymaca, what was it, the Zymaca? It was 156 compared to 42. So we know there's not much esters going in this. So I like the comparison of this. And dosage is 16 grams per litre. So 16 grams of sugar per litre. As I say, love or hate Plantation for what they do, adding sugar to this and doing crazy stuff. You have to admire them for being open and honest. We always give Alex and the gang, Alexandra, sorry, we always give him and the gang big love, because they're just so open and honest. You know, certain other rum distilleries in Barbados may not 100% agree with what they do. Doesn't matter. They make great quality rums. So, and even, right, cane sugar caramel E150A, between 0 and 0.1%, solely to adjust colour. So they even tell you how much of that bottle is colorant. Okay, and what's the Zymaca? The Zymaca is the same, between 0 and 0.1. You know, so there we go. Right, so let's get on to the old, I think that's kind of telling. We open up the Rum X app now, and we do the kind of, so it guides you through, you do the colour, the nose, the tasting and all that. And that's the framework I use for this. So the colour, I've gone burnished. I've never heard of that colour before, but it sat quite nicely on the app. So I've gone burnished on that. Right, what can I smell? This is so unique for me. And this has been open, again, half an hour. I've got used to, I do these, I write the notes, and then by the time I start recording, it's about half an hour. And I've just started doing that because I've noticed some rums really do open out and totally change after half an hour or so. Bearing in mind, you know, they're not changing in temperature, it's just the air. So anyway, I've written down pear. It's an element of floralness to it, and I can't really pinpoint that, but I've got floralness coming in. Banana. I've got varnish. I have got subtle hints of varnish on there, like paint varnish, like not nail polish stuff. I'm like paint varnish. That's kind of what I've got off there. What else do I write? Spice comes out. Now I've put nutmeg, and this is the addition. I've put spice comes out. Now I've gone into smell that just before I literally hit record. I've added in nutmeg, because I really do think that's a nutmeg. I couldn't pinpoint it earlier. Now I do think it's nutmeg. But then I've also written in vanilla. I wasn't getting the vanilla earlier. Now I get vanilla. So pear, floralness. I still can't really pick what that is. It's just a floral element to it. I'm not saying grassy. I'm not saying, you know, flowers or anything. It's just something that makes me want to say floral notes to it. So pear, floral, banana, varnish. Spice comes out. Added in nutmeg, vanilla. So the scores on the doors, I've smelt this, and scarily, I've just given this a 2. I don't think it's going to be that sweet. And I've always had it in my head that this is a sweeter rum. So, you know, I had to refresh myself on the tasting, obviously, but smelling wise, 2. I've smelt a lot sweeter rums on this. So fruit, 4. I nearly went 5, but I've reined it in. I've gone 4. 4 out of 5 for fruit. Floralness 2, spices 1, woody oaky 1, roasted zip nothing, and rounded 2. The emphasis for me is 100% on that fruit. The floral, I wish I could pick what that floral is. Notes, flavours that I'm not really used to at this precise moment. It's just something in me that wants to say floral. So I've done that. So sweetness 2, fruit 4, floral 2, spices 1, woody oaky 1, roasted 0, rounded 2. emphasis 100% on the fruit. So we dive straight in. Right. How many times? 112 times this has been reviewed. Okay, so, right, let's open up this profile. What have other people got here? Fruity, good. Banana, glue. Is that my varnish? I've pinpointed it as varnish. But quite a lot of people have written glue. That's interesting. Okay, so fruity, banana, glue. Fruit schnapps. Tropical fruit, pear, pineapple, floral's quite nice, and burnt sugar. Interesting. I don't really get the burnt sugar or the caramel or anything like that. No. That's interesting. Perhaps the glue is kind of what I'm picking out as varnish. Fruit schnapps. I did used to like my schnapps. What was the brand when you used to go to like Greece and all that? Techene or Tychene, whatever you want to call it. Techene, T-E-S, Techene, you know. Fruit schnapps, yeah. But I really, yeah, I kind of agree with everything else apart from those. Well, the glue I'm assuming is my varnish and the burnt sugar. Yeah, no, I don't get burnt sugar from that at all. Right, so let's get on to the old tasting. I'll have another quick refresh. This is just gorgeous. I'm going to be interested to see how this actually ranks on there. I've not looked at the actual scores. I keep forgetting to tell you guys what the average scores are. I've not looked. I think this is going to really split the difference here because I really enjoy this. Really like it. The initial is just juicy fruit. There's a touch of alcoholic bite in there, but if you swill it around your mouth, it's just like juicy fruit. It's so luscious, like pineapple, tropical fruits, banana. It's so luscious. I've written down soft, and again, I've written down, my words are element of floralness to it. No idea. And there's just something in me. I can't really pinpoint it. I'd love to. I should have gone through the Rum X and gone through all those floral things that it kind of lists. And I might do that afterwards actually, but I just can't pick. There's just something in there that makes me want to say floral. And then I've got then goes rich, and then I've got fudge and vanilla, right? Now this is quite interesting because that initial kind of taste for me is very, very fruit juicy, very, but it does take you on this little journey, and as it finishes, well, it's not even finished, it's kind of like in the mid palate, if you like to call it. It's okay, fudge really kind of reminded me of fudge and the vanilla notes that come out of there. It's just, I suppose you'd kind of say toffee fudge. I suppose that's what fudge was, plain fudge, buttery fudge. I don't know, I just call it fudge. But yeah, fudge, vanilla, honey. And then, right, this is the interesting thing as well. I'd written down spice. And again, I thought, so I added in nutmeg when it came, didn't I? Yeah, I added in nutmeg when it came to the nose. I've added in ginger this time. I couldn't pinpoint what that spice was. But as it's been sitting out here, I'm pretty convinced that's ginger. But it's just this, it is a lovely journey. Fruit up front, less fruit now. It's almost rapid. It's almost like within seconds. Fudge. And then it sort of dries out a little bit. And I've got this ginger. I'm sure it's ginger that I'm picking up. So yeah, so soft, juicy fruits, element of floralness to it. Then goes rich, fudge, vanilla, honey, spice, ginger. That's what I've written down. So, scores on the doors. Sweetness. I've put a 2. I'm now thinking that I need to put that as a 3. In fact, I'm going to change that. I'm putting that as a 3. I am changing it. Because I do think it has, initially I wasn't getting it, but I do think now I've got a bit of sweetness to it. And obviously there's 16 grams of sugar in there, so perhaps that should be 3. Fruit 3, floral 2, spices 1, woody oaky 1, roasted 0, rounded 2. So for me, again, the emphasis is massively on the fruit for this. You don't mistake, it is rum. You don't mistake it for not being a rum, but it's definitely more fruit forward than it is spice, woody oaky notes. This is a cracking, and I don't even, This will be in the summing up. Remind me to mention this in the summing up. I keep wanting to do the summing up before I get into the rest of it. I've got to stop doing it. So the finish for me, tropical fruits, ginger. That's kind of what I've gone into. What are other people getting? Let's scroll down, up, whichever way we want to call it. Right, other people. Fruity, sweet, banana, mild, coconut. I don't get coconut. I get juicy fruits, not coconut. Dry. No. Honey, yes. Alcoholic and vanilla. So no one has got, what did I put in there? Fudge. No one's put fudge. Interesting. I definitely get fudge. No one's put ginger. No one's put spice. No one's put ginger. Hang on. Let's go to the finish. Oh, here we go. The finish. Banana, ginger, hot, honey, woody, sweet, vanilla, fruity, dry, ginger. Yes. So what was on the nose? No one's put a spice on the nose. I put nutmeg. Yes, ginger. Like that. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced it's ginger. Right. So, scores. Scores. What have I given this? 82. 82 out of 100. Very good. 70 to 79 is good. 80 to 89 is very good. I think it's definitely very good. For me personally, it definitely has to be very good. It should be a rum that I come back to. Everything else I want to say now, I'm reining in because that would come in the summing up. I think I would have to give it 82. I'm quite happy with that. Right, let's do it now before I completely forget. The average scores on 112 ratings are 70. So let me just go in and see what we've got. Wow. So, one person out of 112 has gone in the 30s. Muppet. Absolute muppet. What a weapon that is. 30. 30 to 30. No. Right. So that's instantly taking the average score down. 6 people have gone in the 40s. Muppets. Absolute. They are muppets. That is not. It really isn't a 40 to 49. Really isn't. What's that translate to? Drinkable. Poor. So 30 is poor. No. And 40 is drinkable. No. 11 people have then gone into 50s, which is average. I could get average from the rum geeks. The rum geeks, I kind of get that. They're going to think this is average. I kind of understand that. But then we start to go up. We've got in the 60s, we've got 28. The big one, over half the people reviewing this have gone in the 70s. And there's just 10 in the 80s. Hello. And 2 in the 90s. So yeah, in hindsight, that might be a little bit, 82 might be a little bit OTT, but I'm quite happy giving it 82. Bearing in mind, I was at the lower end of the 80s, so close to the 70s, if you like. And as I say, the average scores, so looking at, the 30s and the 40s, I would say quite a lot of those, the people that scored in the 70s, I think quite a lot of people have probably gone mid to high 70s, like 75, 76, 77. I don't think I can break that down. No, I can't break it down anymore. So yeah, I 75 to 82, I would be quite happy with on there. Right, so let's get into the old tasting, the mixes, and the summing up, what I kind of think on there. So, now, let's get into the old mixer tests. One of those is interesting, but completely wasted on me, and that's the Coke, rum and Coke. That, I think, is a glorious rum for it to be in a rum and Coke. Nah. Something about fruity Coke. I don't do fruity Coke. I don't know why. I like vanilla Coke, I get that. But when Coke released all those random flavours like the raspberry Coke, the mango Coke and all that, it wasn't for me. I didn't get them. I don't understand fruity Coke. Don't get it. So for me, no. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Ginger ale, spiced orange ginger ale, ginger beer. For me, probably the ginger ale would be my favourite. This is plain ginger ale, Canada Dry, Schweppes Canada Dry. would be my favourite there. Spiced orange was really, really tasty. The ginger beer, again, really, really tasty. But my top pick, my start of the show, is definitely a ginger ale. Love that. Really nice rum and ginger ale there. Let's go into the old cocktails. The old cocktails. And there's this little bad boy coming into play here as well. So, daiquiri, rum-fashioned rum punch. Daiquiri. I don't like aged golden rum daiquiris as a rule. I really like that. I really, really like that. Right, and I'll be open and honest here. That's still not up for me as a classic sort of white rum. My Ron Cube Carta Blanca, my Plantation's 3 stars, is still not up in those. Flor de Caña 4, wherever that's gone. I've moved everything around and I can't find anything now. I don't even know where my Flor de Caña... Oh, beer somewhere, isn't it? There it is. Flor de Caña 4. You know, it's still not up there as a daiquiri. But, oh, that's good. That is a good, good daiquiri. I really like that. Rum fashions. Sugar, Angostura bitters. No. Didn't do it for me. I had a brainwave. Rum fashioned. Sugar, orange bitters. Wow, that is nice. I think you take those bitters, those harsh bitters, the spice bitters away, and put something, even like the, that's the wrong thing to show you, but a lot of you know that is the pineapple and star anise bitters. I think you put something fruity in there, and that is a banging rum fashion. I wasn't a fan of the aromatic bitters, the Angostura bitters, but the orange bitters, yes, 100%. So I would swap that out. Cracking. The rum punch was an interesting one for me. The big thing is I always say it, you know, I'll say it again, 1 part sour, 2 parts sweet, 3 parts strong, 4 parts weak, a dash of spice to make it nice, lime, honey and strawberry sweetener, rum, passion fruit juice, and Angostura bitters in there for the spice. Now, my point being with the rum punch, yes, that is fruit forward, big bold flavours. The whole point of that test is I want the rum to be distinctive. Okay, I don't want it just to be, will it be any old rum if I used it? That's what the point I want to make with it. Now, is that any old rum that goes in there? No, because it is something different. However, the caveat is, I do think it is too soft and too delicate to go in a big fruity rum punch. I think if I did my old school kind of rum punch, the one where I kind of let the rum do the work, so it's lime, it's honey and orgeat syrup, water, and then a random spice, and not necessarily Angostura bitters, but a kind of softer spice. I think that works a lot better. Fun and fruity, it just kind of doesn't do the rum justice for me in there. So I hope that's kind of explained that for you. So summing up, in fact, I'm going to drink that because that's amazing. And I now want to try it with the pineapple star anise bitters because that's really, really good. And the daiquiri, I really, really like them. Yeah. So summing up, what if I made any notes to sum up? Final thoughts. So 3 tests. Is it value for money? Would I buy it again? Are there any other comparable rums? For once, I don't have another rum behind me, and I cannot think of any other rums on the market other than other Plantation Fiji rums or other Fiji rums that are out there that would possibly even compare to this. There's nothing, absolutely zero. So is there another rum that I know of other than the other Plantation rums in that range that fit with that? No, it just isn't. There really isn't. So that's in its own. There's no comparable rums there for me. Is it value for money? £32. I think I've got to get my head away from, it has gone away. I used to sort of think like 25, 28, £30 was kind of like the benchmark for mixing rums. And now I used to think, you know, especially when you look at the Plantation Barbados, which is over £30, and then you get, what was I comparing it to? I completely forgot what I compare it to now. There's something that's just completely gone out of my head. There was something else. I can't think what it was. It may have been the Dawleys. There was like £5 or £6 cheaper. It might have been the Dawleys, 5. And I kind of think, oh, that's quite expensive. It wasn't that. It was the Zymacker. Sorry. It was the Plantation Zymacker. Over 30 quid. And the Appleton 8-year-old, that's a lot longer aged, actually comes in at a good sort of £5, £6 cheaper. That's kind of where my head was. But I've kind of got over that. £32, is that value for money? That is a belting rum, an absolute belting rum. Now, would I spend £32 on restocking it? Yes. As I said at the top, I'm very fortunate that I haven't done. Nick, thank you, Nick, again. I haven't replaced these, but I certainly would. Now, this brings me on to another point that I want to mention. For some unknown reason, this is really overlooked for me. I've even done a new PDF, downloadable, getting into sipping rums, free. Look at the pinned comment below this video. And I just haven't included that. Now, A, I forgot about it, and B, I'm looking back now in hindsight, should I change that PDF and do something different? The way I'm going to characterise this is I don't think it's an entry-level sipping rum, but it is. What I mean by that is, if I was giving you that, I wouldn't want your first experience of rum to be something like that, totally fruity and way out there. I want your first experience of rums to be out and out, sort of what rums are all about, sort of stereotypical. And then when you get used to them, then you, for me personally, then you can look at other variances. For me to give you something really fruity, really kind of tropical in the first kind of few rums of your rum sipping journey, I kind of think gives you a false sense of what rum is about. Rum is lovely and can, you know, it brings out loads of different flavours. But if you really fell in love with that, my point being, you're going to really struggle to find other rums that even come close to being as fruity and as tropical as this. So I hope you understand by that what I mean. It is a very easygoing, very accessible rum. But in my top entry level 10 sipping rums for you to take you on that starter journey, I don't think it fits in there for me. But it's an entry-level accessible rum. Once you've done your rum journey, once you are into sipping neat rums, yes, I think that is an absolute cracker. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.